Wednesday evening again, everybody, and welcome to Madison Square Garden for the Royal Rumble that we will be having later on tonight. We'll get into that a little bit later. We'd like to welcome you all in here to another edition of Tailgate Talk Nebraska. With us, as always, out in Colorado tonight for Morgan, Colorado, Brian Denton via satellite. Jeff Green, our luscious host, or luxurious, gracious.
Gracious, let's go with gracious.
Yeah, not luscious.
Not too gracious.
And we will bring in we're going to bring you an hour's worth. And gentlemen, let's start it off last Monday night. Hard Rock down in Miami, Florida, the national championship game. The undefeated Indiana Hoosiers, led by Kurt Cignati and Francisco Mendoza, taking on Mario Cristobal and Carson Beck's Miami Hurricanes. And guys, the way the game started, it looked like it was going to be another blowout for the Hoosiers, but Miami hung in there. Miami hung in there with them, but Indiana showed one thing that I thought towards the end of the year. I know I picked Miami to win this game. They're the best team out there this year, by far.
Indiana?
Indiana.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you're right. Miami made game with it. Their defense held them in the game. If they would have made that field goal, that could have changed a few things for them. But still, they were still playing from behind the whole game.
They were.
Tony started finally finding some green grass late, but it was too little too late.
It was. Very explosive player, though.
Yeah.
Very explosive player, Malachi Tony. Brian, do you think Indiana showed they're the best team in the nation this year?
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
They're the best team in the nation this year by far. You know, I never really had a doubt that Indiana was going to win that game. I never really had a doubt, even though that Miami kind of snuck in there and kind of stayed in the game for a little bit. I didn't trust Miami to actually pull that win out. I just didn't.
Cignetti was worried, but then he showed that he had big kahunas.
Going for a fourth down there.
Twice.
And what a run by Mendoza, guys. I mean, if anybody ever had doubts on why that kid won the Heisman, that right there, not just his passing, that gutsy play right there, the way he laid the linebacker out, spun, dove in the end zone, took two big hits. And
yeah. I'm 4-7 in the red zone.
Yeah.
And you're up by 3.
Yeah.
You literally, if you don't make at least the first down, they go down and get a field goal, and it's a whole new ball game all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a risk. Tony get free. Next thing you know, they're down by 4. I mean, that was huge.
Yep.
I mean,
what I thought was big about that is that just showed that Indiana was different this year. They were different. There's just something different about that team, the way they're led. Because as traditionally, the Heisman Trophy winner doesn't usually play very well in the national championship game. They usually don't. But that solidified his Heisman moment. That right there, that just showed that Indiana was a team of destiny this year. I
think Denny, though, I mean, he had such faith in his defense.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't get that, his defense would have went out there and got the job done. I truly believe that.
Yeah. Signetti, the one thing about him, he looks like one of those coaches that if you play for him and you make a mistake, you don't want to go face him.
No.
He also looks like the kind of coach you want to play for. He looks like that kind of guy that, he's going to put his arm around you after he chews your ass and say, okay, now next time you go out, I want you to do it this way, And those players respond to him. They respond to him so well.
The one thing that this was the first game that Indiana really showed that they could make mistakes. Because they did make some mistakes, some penalties they don't normally get.
Yeah.
And you could see it on Cignetti's face, like, what are we doing? We got here by being clean and very technical. Yeah. And that's the thing about that Indiana team, is they're super technical.
I wonder how big of a blowout it would have been if there were 3 plays in that first half where Mendoza got drilled that should have been called, targeting That one, the kid put his helmet right underneath Mendoza's face mask.
Well,
Well,
you,
in the
you,
one,
you didn't disappoint. You know, that stung you. And then they came out there in that first quarter,
Yeah.
and they tried to enforce that.
Yeah.
They tried to scare Indiana into making mistakes. And they made a few, but like you were saying, you know, they didn't play as clean as they usually do. But then on the other hand, they didn't back down either.
No, not even close.
the one that really got me is where he got hit in the back.
There you go, Brent.
Yeah.
The one where he got hit in the back, that should have been called
Yeah.
all day long. All
But
day
then on that
It-
last drive from Miami, the Indiana defender just kind of pushed back, and they call that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
You know,
wasn't even-
How about the missed face mask
Yeah.
on that running back? I mean, it looked like Eric Crouch with he was looking out the eye hole.
well, you know that it was kind of funny. I was listening to the pregame, and they said it was a Big 12 refereeing crew that's known for throwing flags, a lot of them, and they weren't throwing shit. They were letting them
I didn't
play.
really let that go. They let a lot of things play.
They let the defensive backs play, you know, and I don't mind that as long as it's going both sides, you know.
Yes.
And it doesn't change late.
Right. It doesn't change how the game turns out.
The refs just shouldn't be deciding games.
You know, to Derek's point, I don't mind them letting them play as long as it's okay on both sides.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it's like an umpire in baseball calling outside strikes. As long as he does it for everybody,
Mhm.
everybody knows that that's just the strike zone that night.
Right.
You know, that's the one thing that I would say football lacks a lot of is consistency in the calling.
Now, you guys remember last April we did our draft night special,
Yep.
and we were in here and we were all waiting to see Shador go to the Giants. He made the slide down. How many NFL team officials do you think saw Carson Beck just walk off the field without going, shaking Mendoza's hand or any of that? He didn't go talk to him. I understand. You throw a pick at the end of the game, it loses your team, you're depressed. You're down. You're down on yourself for that. But man, show that sportsmanship.
Yeah, it showed poor sportsmanship.
I mean,
You know, in every sport, there's that scene. The Pistons with Jordan and the walking out. Isaiah and Jordan fight about it today. I mean, they still hate each other
Yeah.
over it. Barkley with Shaq not shaking his hand when he played in Orlando.
Yep.
That's still a deal between those two. They talk a little bit now, but it still comes up. I mean, that shows sportsmanship.
And so, do you guys think Beck will slide in the draft because of that? You know, I mean, Shador slid in the draft because of his attitude and everything else. So if an NFL official, your team representative official, whatever you want to call him, is watching that and sees him just walk off the field,
I think if you're torn between two,
that
Beck
plays
loses,
into it.
Beck loses that
Right.
battle because of that.
Right.
I don't think he does the Shador slip
Right.
because, you know, his mouth was running way too hard. I mean, he was showing up to interviews with an attitude. Like, I was a favor to come here to talk to you.
But Beck kind of has that demeanor about it.
He kind
Carson
of
Beck
does.
does have that demeanor about him.
But he's not a Pavia.
He's still going to get his opportunity to mess it up further.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still the combine, there's still these interviews, and that's where Shador messed up.
Right.
Was the interviews and the combine. His stuff beforehand, I mean, they were still saying, yeah, we're going to look at him. We're going to look at him. It is what he did afterwards. Beck, he has set himself up to go in. He has to interview well. He has to perform well at the combine. If he goes in there like Shador, he can slip like Shador.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this, Brian. Say Carson Beck does make that throw at the end, and say Miami does go in and they win the Natty. Do you see Mendoza just walking off the field?
No. Absolutely.
Not a chance.
No.
And
I don't-
they would not allow it.
No.
He knows what's expected.
Yeah.
I'm with Jeff. I don't think Signetti would allow it. I think Signetti would grab him going into the locker room and no, you go shake their hand.
What did you see the Miami running back take a swing at the Indiana defensive lineman?
Yeah. Wouldn't you love to know what was said.
Yeah.
I mean, what could possibly make that happen after the fact like that?
Well, but I like how the Miami running back had his helmet on and takes a swing at a guy without a helmet on. I mean,
Yeah.
it's smart thinking, but
I
I'm saying I'm not going to take it off to make it even.
yeah.
back on the Beck conversation. I should he slip a little bit because of that? Yes, I completely agree. Should will he? No, I don't see it. It's a pretty weak quarterback draft. There's only a couple in there that are really that good that somebody's
Yeah,
going to take a chance
what
on.
if he doesn't interview well? I mean, like for example, let's say he fails the dollar test, the $100 bill test.
Hmm.
Shadur
Yeah,
failed that at two different places
Hmm.
because he didn't open up the playbook. And then when they were asking him questions about it, they asked him about a specific play. He acted like he knew the play, but if he knew the play, there would have been $100 bill on that play.
I
'Cause,
I think
uh,
though that I think Mendoza knows the game well enough because he played at Georgia for God's sakes, under Kirby Smart. Like he's not a
Beck.
dumb
no,
guy.
Not
Beck.
Mendoza, Beck.
Yeah,
I'm talking about Beck.
you switch
Yeah.
names on us, but
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry. Yes, I'm talking about Beck. I think he's a smart enough guy. I don't think he's going to slip up in the draft process.
Yeah.
The one that's going to slip is Pavia. I could see Pavia dropping for sure, but Mendoza's by far going to be the Raiders going to select him. This is what it is. He might as well just get his house ready.
yeah, he
So,
should just start getting silver and black and buy a house down there, and he should be down there looking for his bachelor pad.
yep.
I think Mendoza, he solidified the fact that he's going to be that number one pick. He has
Yeah.
solidified by his play on the field, by his attitude, by the way he interviews. I mean, all of that is. I mean, he felt bad because he slipped up and he said a curse word
Yeah,
on there the other night.
but
He felt bad
now,
about
now
that.
as the Raiders head coach, though,
Yeah.
it's not a big Raiders thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that might give the edge to Beck in that situation because you got to have the persona.
I think Francisco Mendoza is NFL ready, though. I think he
Yeah.
shows he can make those throws. He shows toughness. Is he going to come out and be an All Pro his first year? Probably not. But I think you give him a couple of years, he will show he is going to be a solid NFL quarterback.
Now here's the question:
Okay.
Cindetti, the miracle, first year, all 3-star, 2 stars, made the playoffs. This year gets the natty. Now he's losing a lot of them to graduations, drafts, things like that. Can he make it go a third year? The recruiting that he's got has been ranked in the 30s so far. I mean, he's not going after 4 or 5 stars. He had a few of them approach him, but he took he took 2 linemen. They were big 4 stars. One of them was on the fence 5. Doesn't continue. Can he
Yes.
continue to do this with the lesser players?
I think he does, and here's the reason why. Because these guys want to play for him. They want to do what he asks them to do. If he lined them all up and he said, okay, guys, that brick wall that's 5 feet thick, break through it as a team, they would try. They're Cam Scatterby type guys. They're going to lay their head in there and they're going to try to drive through there. And I think Signati showed he did it with 3 and 4 star players the
He
last few
did.
years.
But the first group that came with him, no one else wanted those players.
No.
That's why they were
And James
James
Madison.
Madison.
This is my point on Sig. Yes, I think he will continue to do it because what he's done there is he's brought culture.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care who you are. You are going to earn that job. That's something that these guys that get 5-star recruits don't do well. Look at Brian Kelly in LSU. He didn't do it, and look, he's out.
Oh,
Did you hear Nick Saban at the beginning of the game? No, when they asked him that question about 3 and 4-star recruits, he's like, they're 5-star recruits now. he's like,
Yeah.
he's developing them, and that's one thing that he's different. He doesn't want the big name guys.
He wants
because
guys that are going to fit his program.
It's sort of like when
yes,
he got asked if he'll ever go to the NFL. He said, "No, I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher first. I'm a coach 2nd." He's not going anywhere because he's pros don't get taught.
No.
I'm sorry, he solidified himself to me as right now the best coach in college football. Right now.
Active.
Active coach, yes.
Active coach, yes.
Yeah. And, the thing about Signotti, he doesn't want these prima donnas. He doesn't want the. I mean, look at Mendoza. Mendoza wasn't a big name transferring last year. He was, a decent quarterback, but he wasn't a big name. He wasn't the big Carson Beck type guy coming out.
Well,
last year.
he didn't have to go up against the Florida State or Penn State to get him.
Right.
That's not the people that were looking at that kid.
Right. But look at him now. He's gone from, I don't remember where he was at, Cal.
He was at Cal.
And nobody really wanted him in the transfer portal. I mean, not saying nobody, but
No, big games.
now he goes to Heisman Trophy, #1 draft pick, national champion,
MVP.
Yeah.
MVP of the Natty.
Yeah. And, I mean, I think that's what Signotti wants. He wants those guys that are going to fit his program, the way he coaches. Now, I'm not going to say Indiana is going to be a powerhouse and win 6 out of the next 8 national championships because those runs of the dynasties are over.
Well, yeah, because we got a real playoff now.
You got a real playoff.
Anyone that has said that we had the best 4 teams, the best 2 teams, we've had 2, and a 7 seed and a 10 seed were the championship game.
Right.
A 7 seed won. Indiana being the #1 overall seed showed that the #1 seed can't win.
Right.
But up until this point, I mean, we have 7 to 10 seeds making it.
But I'm saying with NIL, transfer portal, all that stuff, you're not going to see the big, like Alabama dynasties when Saban was there. You're not going to see the 90s Nebraska dynasties.
Correct.
You're not going to see those dynasties anymore, the Georgias, Clemsons. You're going to see teams like this, Indiana, who are going to be productive every year. They may have a down year. But you're probably going to see them atop the Big Ten for the next few years.
Come on, Big Ten stuff.
I know, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Big Ten stuff to win.
I'm not saying they'll
you
win.
got a hungry Oregon team that just they're biting at the bit.
You got Oregon, you got Ohio State, you got Michigan, you got Penn State, you got Nebraska, you got all these teams that are good in the Big Ten, but I'm saying Indiana will be up at the top.
Yeah.
They'll be one of those top
They'll be in
tier
that
teams.
mix. Yeah.
And
As long as Signetti's there, they'll be at the top.
yeah, and who knows? Signetti may bring somebody in behind him that coaches the same way. He may be teaching one of his assistants right now, this is how you coach these kids. This is how you teach them to play the game the right way. That guy may take over and just keep this going. But,
Well, Signetti doesn't look like he's anywhere close to it. I mean, he only signed a 5-year deal, though.
right.
Yeah, but what's the thing is, like Derek's saying, there's too much parity now. There's just, anybody could come up and have a monster year. Anybody.
I hear what you're saying, but now, you got it. I mean, there was some parity before this.
No, there wasn't.
It's just that we didn't recognize it.
There
No, we
wasn't.
didn't recognize it. We didn't give credit to them. They're one-loss teams that never made the playoffs because
There were undefeated teams that never made
that's
the
right,
playoffs.
and that's because of someone's opinion that kept them down. We had teams that had parity,
Right.
that could have showed parity
Yeah.
if we would have had a real playoff system.
I mean, the thing about it, when you get into a playoff like that, it's a one-and-done thing.
That's right. Any given Sunday or any given
Last
Saturday.
year, nobody except for one person of us at Talk, gave Arizona a chance against Texas.
You're right.
Everybody thought it was going to be a 14 to 21 point game, that Texas was just going to steamroll them. Arizona State had every opportunity. They could have won that game.
Absolutely.
Nobody gave Texas a chance against Ohio State the way they were playing.
Nope.
And it was close. I'm not saying that whatever, but until Sawyer grabbed Ewers and got that fumble return for a touchdown. That kind of blew it open. But you look at those games, and in a one-and-done situation, any given Saturday, Friday, whatever day you're playing on, can happen in college football.
I mean, go back right before we went to the expanded playoffs. We had the Oregon Penn State game that happened in Happy Valley. That was a one possession game. Mm-hmm. We had the Ohio State Penn State game that same year. That was a one possession game, and that could have kicked anyone out.
Yeah.
During that.
Yeah.
Those you get those one, like you said, one and dones. When we had the smaller field, those one and dones were in week 10.
Yeah.
In week 8.
Yep.
You know?
And I think they want to expand to 16, which would be good.
I don't mind 16. I think that's the limit.
Yeah.
16 and stop.
Stop.
Yeah.
Close it up. And I mean, they should make it a congressional movement that Trump needs to come down and say, no more! We have the best!
But
they're all the best!
But I think the first 8 teams should get the bye, or not bye, but the home field advantage for that first round.
Yep.
And then you go to your bowl games after that, just like we're doing now. But I think 16 would be good. It would give you...
I just don't see the benefit to having a gate week off.
Yeah.
Right now we're, 2-8 or 2-6?
Yes.
2-6.
The only team to win with a bye is
we're
Indiana.
1-7.
Yeah.
1-7 for the teams a week off.
Yeah, the only one to win is Indiana.
Yeah, that's right. So I mean, there's no benefit to it, and you don't get your home field.
Right.
And you know, as a Nebraska fan, let's just say we make it one of these years. I want that bye week. I want to bring up Alabama or Miami here.
Right.
In January. Come play us in the cold. You know?
No, and...
Listen to the big red monster.
You know, here's the thing, and I know we all made this argument that they shouldn't be let in because of everything.
Absolutely.
Would Notre Dame have made a difference in the way this playoff shaked out this year if they would have been in? You know, I mean, you look at James Madison and you look at Tulane. Okay.
Had no business in there.
Is Notre Dame a better team than both of them?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Hands down.
I know Notre Dame plays in no conference. That is a strike against them. They set their own schedule. They shouldn't be able to do that.
But let's just... You got Texas, you had South Carolina sitting there, that
BYU.
There were teams that were more deserving. I still think we should punish Notre Dame until they join a conference.
Yes.
But we're punishing BYU's and Texas for playing in a tough league, and letting Tulane, they should be involved.
Right.
They shouldn't be involved. There definitely should not be a guaranteed spot for them. Now, if we get a Tulane that not only goes undefeated, but average 35-point victories all the way through it, maybe we have a talk.
Now let's go
as an at-large.
Let's go a few years back. Central Florida under Scott Frost, undefeated. They go to the bowl game. They win their bowl game. That team would have deserved to have been in a 12-team.
Absolutely. And the team they beat, that Auburn team,
yeah,
beat both teams that were in the national championship.
I know.
So I mean, that team deserved a look.
Yeah.
Where and the teams that they were supposed to be, they beat them bad.
Yeah.
Their close games were against SEC teams and the ACC teams.
Right.
Right. Now, but that to guarantee them a spot. Basketball, I get it. The thing we love about March Madness is the one and done format, and you get Butler and Loyola, and but those are 15-person teams.
Yeah.
You can find 15 guys.
Yeah. Now, Brian, let's go back to this one. You look at a team like Notre Dame. Okay, they don't make the playoffs. Oh, well, we're not going to go to a bowl game. We're going to take our ball. We're going to go home. K-State, same thing. Iowa State, same thing. Now I understand a little more with Iowa State because they lost their head coach and all these guys are in the transfer portal. They would have went into that bowl game playing, the water boy. But, which he might have done well. He did really well for the Mud Dogs back in the day. But
Do you truly believe the second string could have won that game?
for Iowa State,
For
in a bowl
James
game?
Madison or Tulane, the teams that they played against, the second strings could have won those games.
For the other teams.
Yeah.
Like Oregon playing James Madison.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Miami could have put the
they
second
could
team
have
out.
set their starters the whole game, and still probably would have won that game by double digits.
But what I'm saying is those teams that make a bowl game, that are bowl eligible, they win 6 games, they're bowl eligible to go. Should the NCAA install something that if they don't go, they're penalized for like 2 years at least of not being bowl eligible?
Oh, like Notre Dame did. We didn't make it,
Iowa
so
State.
we're
That's
not
what
going to
I'm
play.
saying.
Absolutely. These companies have put these bowls together and put millions of dollars into making that happen, and then you don't come.
I mean,
that is so disrespectful, and just disrespectful.
I completely agree. The one that absolutely had no excuse to not play the bowl game was Notre Dame. They had no excuse. I understand Iowa State lost their head coach. I understand Kansas State climb and step down. I understand that. But they still should go.
One more game.
Yes, I agree with you. But
maybe football needs to take a page out of basketball. We have the NIT tournament, and everyone kind of does that look on it, but we're pretty proud of those 5 banners we have. I'm just saying.
We're the 66th best team in the nation.
I'm just saying though, there would be, in this case, would be the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th teams.
Yeah.
That could be a really good consolation tournament.
But these schools are still getting paid to go to these bowl games. They're
Absolutely.
still making good money to go to these bowls. Notre Dame would have gotten one of the elite bowls. They would have gotten one of the elite bowls. They would have been one of the first picks.
And you got these other teams like Pitt and them. They need that bowl game to make them profitable for the year.
But think about this as a fan. Like, if you're kind of a fan of Kansas State, Brian, right?
Yeah, he's a homer.
So imagine if you're a season ticket holder. You've got 4 season tickets to K-State. You go down there. You support them. You go to every game. You pay for the parking. You pay for that. You pay for whatever inside. You buy the apparel. You buy all this stuff.
You had a chance to go to Jacksonville and watch them play.
All of a sudden, they don't go anywhere. And they don't make that money for the school. And they have to pay $500,000, $500,000.
And your vacation that you had planned for the last 3 months is now, well, what do we do? Where are we going to go?
Now, I will say, as a KU fan, they were offered to go to a bowl game after all these other ones declined it. Now, the one thing I will say about the teams that weren't bowl eligible, they'd already had their check-in. They'd already got their equipment checked in. These guys probably had travel plans to make it back. They hadn't been practicing.
Half of their kids have flown one way and the other.
I can't say that the teams that weren't bowl eligible and then got the invitation and declined, I can't really put it on them. Because,
you can't.
Because
it shouldn't have happened.
They're done.
It shouldn't have happened.
Right. How did Snoop Dogg feel when nobody wanted to come play in his bowl game?
Yeah. He's not going to do it again.
No.
You know damn well he's not going to do it again. Because he didn't get what he expected. He didn't get what he paid for.
Yep.
To me, like I said, the biggest one was Indiana because they were on the cusp, or not Indiana, but Notre Dame. Because they were on the cusp of making the playoff. Yep. What I do agree with is there's a lot of athletic directors that are taking it upon themselves that they may not schedule Notre Dame because of this. That's what needs to happen to get Notre Dame to actually be like, oh shit, we need to be in a conference. You know,
There's two stages to this conversation. First, there's the schools should have to go.
Yeah.
But if you have an NIL contract, you should have to play.
Okay, but
I don't give a shit if it's the Pinstripe Bowl or the Milwaukee Sideways Bowl. I mean, you should have to play if you're getting money.
But is it the players deciding not to play, or is it the coaches and the administration deciding we don't want to go?
No,
it was
I'm
a Notre
saying first we had that
Oh,
conversation.
you're talking about the players
Yes.
that don't go.
That don't go once they're there. They opt out to play because it's not the playoffs.
But the NCAA can stop that by making the transfer portal after the
Yep.
national championship game. They can make that coaches can't be talked to after the
and NIL contracts need to be written correctly.
Mhm.
They need to say you lose half if you don't go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Oregon's a prime example that the transfer portal needs to change. Because
Absolutely.
whether you like or hate Oregon, it doesn't matter. The fact that they can transfer in the middle of the playoff is bullshit.
Yeah,
Absolute
because,
bullshit.
well, he can't go out and recruit
No.
because he's playing for a natty.
And you don't, as a coach, and you're still in the playoffs, you don't want to sit there and say, yeah, we're bringing so-and-so in the transfer portal, because then the guys you have on your team right now, they're like, well,
Or you get false promises, like Raiola. He went to Oregon thinking more's going on, and
yeah.
now he's not. Now he's going to be holding a clipboard when he thought he was going to be making $2.5 million, which he was making from us. Now he's going to be making 1.75, holding a clipboard.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
he lost
But now look at this.
$750,000.
What if Moore goes down with an injury 8 games into the season next year, and do they pull the red shirt off Raiola and throw him out there? Or do they just put the backup in to keep the red shirt on him? He's allowed 4 games.
Man, I hope they pull the red shirt, throw him out there, and realize how bad he was.
Well, Jeff, I have a good point on because that quarterback room in Oregon's stacked.
Yeah.
He's got to get the backup job before he even gets a shot at that. You know, that quarterback room in Oregon's not bad.
Now, what we were just talking about these players, let's go to an Emmitt Johnson who declares for the NFL draft. He knows he's going to go to the NFL. Should he be forced to play in the bowl game?
Did he take NIL money? Did he get paid all year?
Yes.
Then he should play in the bowl game.
Right. But
you know who started that? Christian McCaffrey started that.
In the late 80s.
Christian McCaffrey was the big one that started that.
No.
Yes, he was.
This has been going on in the 90s and the 80s. This has been going on a long time.
It wasn't as prominent then
No.
as it is now.
No, but people that were in that first round pick, if they were a first rounder and they weren't playing for a big bowl, they were opting out.
They would sit, they'd be there dressed,
Right.
but they wouldn't
play.
much, you know.
I mean, would we beat the shit out of Peyton Manning?
Mm-hmm.
They benched him towards the end of the third quarter because, well, it was over.
Yeah.
The game was over, and so they brought in
T. Martin.
There you go, T. Martin. Their future.
But at least he suited up and played.
That's right, he did.
Yes.
That's right. And it should. Because there's got to be some loyalty somewhere. And to break it down into money, the loyalty is to the people, to those bowl games and the people that are sponsoring them. That's where this loyalty needs to be. Because without them, we don't have the bowl game.
I agree.
And some of these, like I said earlier, the Pitts, the James Madisons, the Tennessee Chattanoogas, that get into these small bowls, they need that money.
Mm-hmm.
And these kids, there's no reason that they should end their season on a trip. And when they're at these things, they get money, but they get toys and PS5s and I mean,
They get swag.
they get swag.
Yeah.
And they get treated like all stars for the week. And there's no reason after all the work they put in that they shouldn't have that
Okay,
the rainbow.
prime example of that is I'm going to say Notre Dame, for instance. Like Notre Dame, that was a team vote to not go, which I think is bullshit.
Yeah.
However, besides Love, who's their running back, and like there's other seniors on that team that this is their last game.
That's right. They're not going.
They're not going to go to they're not going pro.
They might play at the barnstorming football league, but
Right.
It
How
was
pissed would
Rudy.
you,
It was
how
Rudy's
pissed,
chance to get on the field.
how
yeah,
pissed would
he
you
did.
be? How pissed would you be as a very talented player? Because you got to be a talented player to get in Division One. I don't care who you are, but to Division One football, and you sacrificed 4 years or 5 years, 6 years, whatever it is, and this is your last chance to strap it up.
And you don't get to go.
I'd be pissed.
Ah,
And you know you're not
I
going to
would
make the
be
NFL.
pissed.
Yeah.
I would. I'd be hot.
Well,
And
congratulations.
I'd be. I mean, if we were in the voting room, I probably would have knocked the shit out of you voted against to not. Why don't you want to go? I mean, I would be livid in that room.
Well, congratulations, Kurt Signati, the Indiana Hoosiers,
Losers.
and winning the Natty title this year, 3 in a row for the Big Ten Conference. Indiana, Ohio State, Michigan, all three Jeff's favorite teams. And
At least they're part of the good conference. It's like the good guys versus the bad guys. We've been listening to this bullshit how much better the SEC is for what 20 years,
I did
and
take
it's all been just it's just been because we have an opinion.
yeah. Brian, I will tell you though, remember how I told you I broke it down into 16 regions for college football? Jeff actually agrees with me a little bit on that one, the way
Yeah,
I did it.
it looks fun. It
Okay.
looks,
So I'll have to look at it.
I'll have to send you pictures of it. So,
well. I'll take it to work and I'll email it to you. I'll scan
All right.
it and email it to you.
but anyway,
Sounds good.
we're going to move on, and it is time now, ladies and gentlemen, for the main event. NFL, we're down to the Final Four in the NFL, and we're going to start, because I got to get this out of the way so we can talk about everything. We're going to start Denver, Colorado,
Cheers.
last Saturday night. The Bills, the Broncos, a great game. It was a great game.
Until the refs decided they wanted to decide who won.
So, I'm going to flip a coin. Brian, call it in the air.
Heads.
Okay, Jeff gets to go first.
All right. He catches the ball. His butt hits the ground. The Denver player scrapes it out of his hands while he's on the ground. That's a catch down by contact. That is not a fumble. That is not an interception, and it never should have been. The rule states clearly if you have possession of the ball when you're down, the play is dead. The very next game, they have the same play, and it's called correctly in that play.
Let's talk about the Rams Bears, by the way.
That's right, Rams Bears. And how does they didn't even look at it? He calls a timeout to give them time to look at it. They still don't go look at it. They literally made a decision on us. It was bullshit. The Bills were coming finally down. They were moving the ball. It was bullshit. Bills should have won that game. Donkeys didn't deserve to be there anyway. They had an amazing season. They overproduced for what they were. But the good news is, the football gods, karma, stepped in and broke Nick's ankle right there at the end to make sure they don't go any further.
All right. Now, before we go on, I will say, personally myself, no matter who the team is, I hate seeing injuries. I really do. I hate seeing injuries. These guys are out there putting their bodies on the line game after game. Hate seeing injuries. I know how you feel about the Broncos, Jeff. Brian, your rebuttal on the play that's behind you right now.
So my rebuttal on the play is honestly, I don't like the rule at all because it's so inconsistently called. I'm just going to say that up front. But it is called the Calvin Johnson rule. The Calvin Johnson rule is just because you have possession going to the ground does not make it a catch. What makes it a catch is continuous possession through the catch process. So what that means is until that guy gets up and hands the ball over, that's not a catch.
No.
Now, hold on, Jeff, hold on. What I'm saying is I don't agree with the rule. I don't agree with it. I think, honestly, in my honest opinion, that should have been a catch. In my opinion, that should have been a catch. That should have been Buffalo's ball. However, if we go by the way the rule is worded, it's not a catch. However, I'm going to go back to a game earlier in the season with, I think it was Baltimore. I think it was Baltimore and the Texans. I can't remember exactly the two teams. The tight end caught it in the flat, right? Turned as the defender's trying to rip the ball out, the guy's knee hits the ground. But they considered that a fumble because he didn't make a football move to complete the catch. Okay, so what I'm saying there, Jeff, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I think personally, as a fan, that should have been a catch. Honestly, I'm not negating that fact. But by the way that we go by the rule, I just don't like the inconsistency. Exactly what I'm saying is in the next game, a very similar play was considered a catch. So what I will say is I don't like the rule, period. I don't like it. I think if a receiver catches the ball, goes to the ground, that is offensive possession, end of play right there. That should be the end of play. Now, what I am going to bring up that wasn't called before that play ever happened in overtime, there was a holding call in the end zone, which should have been a safety end of game right there. I will say that.
Yes.
But what I'm saying on this particular play, I don't agree with it, but it is the rule. It is the rule. But the biggest thing is that the NFL, college football in general, the biggest thing is there's such inconsistency on plays like this. And
the Calvin Johnson rule was never intended for that type of play. That is not what that rule was written for. That rule was written to stop a catch and throw down, be called a catch.
Actually,
what I will say though is I saw two former receivers in the NFL talking about this, and it was actually Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco. This is the two guys that were talking about this on their podcast. Ocho Cinco was arguing this point that it should have been a catch. And Shannon Sharp, I do agree he's a Bronco. He's a Bronco through and through. Not going to negate that fact.
Just like the refs.
However, he brought up the Calvin Johnson rule. He's like, unfortunately, that's the way the rule is. Until you get up and hand the ball off, that is not a catch. I don't agree with it. I never will agree with it. The play that rule came up, the Calvin Johnson touchdown in the back of the end zone, to me was a catch. But it ended up being not a catch.
Owens in the playoffs against the Packers. Same thing basically. But Joe Burrow came out and said it was an interception.
Well, Joe Burrow's weird. I mean,
but that's your boy,
Jeff. That's the hardest part of this. It is split. You ask 10 players, you get 5 different. I mean, it's split right down the middle.
Okay, let me ask this.
Your comparison to the football move, that's not the same thing. That is not that. That's not the same thing. He got it, and he turned, and before his foot hit the ground again, he got lit up.
No, his knee was on the ground, Jeff, when the ball was ripped out.
And it should have been called either an
Down
incomplete
or an
pass
incomplete pass.
or down by contact. One of those two
Those two.
is
Yeah.
what it should have been called.
So what I'm saying, it's a prime example of this rule. It is a prime example of this
Here's
rule.
where the NFL made the biggest mistake on that play the other night. A, they did not say the previous play is under review, no matter which way they call it from there. And the referee never came on and gave an explanation of the play. What you hear, you have to make a catch, establish in the pros 2 feet and college 1 foot. You have to establish that inbounds and maintain control of the ball through the ground. Is
Now,
exactly the way it reads.
so now I will say, Jeff, I'm just going to bring up a point. I know you're not a Broncos fan. We all know this. But if that was a Giants defender, would you still be calling it the same way?
No, I would definitely be still calling it the same way.
Okay, so
That guy was down. He had full possession of the ball when his back hit the ground.
so
The
what I will
Denver
say,
guy didn't even really get his hands on it until they hit the ground, and then he grabbed it and he ripped it out of
but
his
he
hands while it was on the ground.
so what I will say though, and I think that this was the deciding factor on this play, was that if he would have rolled completely, let's just say he would have rolled completely and still had possession, I do think it would have went down as a catch. I do think that. However, that it was
It
simultaneously
was a
happening.
catch because
I'm
he was
not.
down when his butt hit the ground. He had full possession of that ball,
He
and
did.
it
He was.
wasn't going nowhere until that Denver Bronco reaches in there while it was on the ground and tugged it out.
What I will say is,
And the problem is they didn't look at it that way. They didn't even look at it.
no,
They
I
made a call that was in favor of the home team, and then they went over to the sideline and basically told McDermott, "It is what it is."
what I
First
will
down,
say,
and they
what
didn't
I
look
will,
at it. New York didn't look at it. They didn't put it under review. They didn't explain what they did. They made a call, and
what I will say though is how many catches in the end zone where they're falling out of bounds that they got to completely roll over, continuously holding possession.
they
How
didn't
many have
look
been
at it.
over? How
The
many have been
refs didn't even
overturned?
look at it.
And Brian pointed at me when I brought that up, and I
Because
said they
because
should have looked at it
absolutely should have.
and reviewed
And
it.
they didn't even talk about it. It was a done deal.
Yes.
And three of those refs are from Denver. Two of them live in Denver.
That's where the NFL, or that's where they went wrong. That should have been a really long review of that play.
Absolutely should have been a law.
And like I said, no matter
There should have
which
been
way,
discussions between New York and the field, and yeah, that it was handled wrong.
right.
It was handled
Now,
wrong.
let me ask you this, Jeff. Say they do go to review. Say they're 2 minutes into the review or whatever, and the official comes back out and says, after further review, the call on the field is upheld, interception. You would have been able to live with it a little bit more than what you are now.
Absolutely.
Right.
I would have definitely been able to wrap my head around it a little bit more.
Yes.
I'd be mad at the rule in opposed to what happened on the field.
Right. And I think that's what we're talking about here is the NFL, they'll look at every little incident, touchdowns, turnovers, everything. They always say we're going to look at it under review. This was a turnover. Why didn't they look at it?
In overtime,
Yeah. In a playoff game.
it decided the game.
Yep.
That play decided the game.
Now,
I disagree.
No, that play decided the game.
Because it should have been over before that. It
Well,
should have been over before that.
you're right.
You're right. The Bills
Yeah,
should have made that field goal earlier.
No, what
and
I'm
won
saying is
game.
the holding call. If you
The
look at that play,
Bills made
he's
that
got him
field goal. They
around
were
the
still
neck.
up by one.
Right.
But
they
but also
got
but
normal.
also when that play happened, Jeff, I will go back. After that play happened, Buffalo killed themselves. I'm sorry, but they did kill themselves after that.
But yeah, they were done.
Yeah.
McDermott lost.
they weren't.
I don't know. I don't know if you watched the sideline at all. McDermott lost his mind. He wasn't paying attention to what was going on. He was still living on the ground.
I'm
now-
sorry, but that last pass interference call was clearly pass interference.
It definitely
Clearly.
was pass interference.
Hold on. But then the player got mad and slammed his helmet in front of the ref.
That's because they should have been at that point. They should have been going the other direction and kicking a field goal.
And missing it.
But the thing is,
that could have happened.
Scott Norwood.
what I'm saying is, I wouldn't say Denver was moving the ball enough to say that was a sure-handed thing.
No, the Bills were moving the ball enough to say it was a sure-handed thing. They were
Okay,
going
but what I'm saying is,
to continue down in. But
what I'm-
the Broncos didn't move the ball after that. That was 2 pass interference and a holding call. That's
what I'm
all
saying.
the yardage that they made until they made the touchdown.
That's what I'm saying is Buffalo killed themselves in the last
Absolutely
drive.
they did.
Right.
Because they died.
They lost.
They died in that picture right behind you.
They lost their mental game after that.
Yep.
The mental game of the Bills was gone.
And this is where I'm going to say why McDermott lost his job. I think they've been wanting to fire McDermott for a while. However, I think the fact that game went down the way it did after a controversial play and the way his team responded was his cooking goose. I think that was it.
That probably is true. But just want to point out one thing. I'm not mad because a good team won. I'm mad because a bad team won in a great game. And the worst team that could possibly be in that position won. They shouldn't have won that game. They shouldn't have been in that game.
Now, I'm going to say this. Let's take the Denver Broncos out of this equation.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say this was the Chiefs versus the Bills. Everybody in America would be uproared about this because everybody thinks the Chiefs get all the calls.
They did. Refs lost their jobs over the Chiefs stuff. And now that they lost their jobs, what happened to the Chiefs this year? They were the most penalized team for holding, and they didn't make the playoffs. And once this is all said and done, the NFL is going to get blowback for having 3 Denver men beat on that squad.
Now,
one bright note that I got to give here, and I think Buffalo handled this loss extremely bad. I think they did. But what I will say is Josh Allen's a class act. I'm sorry, but he is. He put the blame on himself, which he should. Honestly, Josh Allen did not play well enough to win that game. I'm sorry, he did not.
and that's what point I was just about to make. Would the Bills have even been in a situation where this play would have even affected it if Allen doesn't fumble twice, Cook doesn't fumble in the first half? There was.
I mean, that was the ugliest game.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it, 8 turnovers at halftime total between both teams? I mean, it was wow.
And
no one was playing well.
And that segues me into moving on. Josh Allen said, "Oh my God, I can't believe I had that many turnovers. I don't think anybody will ever have a game that bad." The next day, C.J. Stroud said, "Hold my beer, I'm going in." C.J. Stroud.
All right, hold on.
And
unfortunately, Denver moves on.
Brian Cook, who is a Texan fan for this year, says defense and coaching win games. The Texans have the best defense, the Texans have the best coach, but they have the worst quarterback in the playoffs. C.J. Stroud, 4 interceptions in the first half, 4 picks, and he never looked like he even felt comfortable out there. That Patriots defense held him to the worst playoff game I think I have ever seen a quarterback play in my life. And Mike Vrabel, Brian was talking about DeMeco Ryans and how good of a coach he is. Mike Vrabel should win Coach of the Year this year, in my opinion. Either him or McDonald in Seattle. One of those two for the job they have done. And Brian, I know you're a part-time Bronco fan, but
He's not a part timer.
I don't think with Jarrett Stidham at the quarterback and seeing what they did to a CJ Stroud, even though Stroud's a quarterback out of Ohio State, I don't know if Stidham is good enough to take them on.
Let me go back to the Texans New England game real quick. If the Texans had a better quarterback, that's a blowout. I'm sorry, but
What?
the Texans
A
defense played
blowout
legit.
going the other direction.
Bullshit.
The defense is legit.
It is
The
legit.
Texans.
Take nothing away from that.
I'm sorry, but New England didn't do nothing. They had
Yeah, they did. Their defense
they had
did.
4
Their
interceptions.
defense destroyed Stroud. Just like they've been destroying quarterback after quarterback all year long.
What I'm telling you though is if the Texans had a better offense, that's not a game. I'm sorry, but it's not.
I will disagree with you on one part. Ramondre Stevenson ran the ball very well against that defense.
Yes.
They
But
had a good ground game.
this is a point that I'm going to bring up when we talk
New
about
England has a solid defense.
No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the Texans defense was on the field a lot.
Well,
A
yeah.
lot. But and they what they the fact that that was only what was that, a 11-point game, 12-point game, something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
The fact that they kept it a 2-score game is amazing. I'm sorry, but that's amazing.
Well, that has to do with how New England plays.
Yeah.
No,
Drake,
it's not. I'm sorry,
It
but
is.
Drake made it.
They
Drake May
are,
did not
they,
play
they,
well.
they are not a big play team. They
Drake-
want to have 10-play drives, 6-play, 8-play drives, eat clock, and then send their defense out to destroy your hopes and dreams.
I agree with Brian Cook. I think if that Texans team had a better offense, that's not a game. I'm sorry, the Texans win easy in that game.
I disagree.
I mean, they did hold the Patriots to a few 3-and-outs in that game. I will say that.
Early.
Drake May was trying to find his footing at the beginning because he was getting pressured by Will Anderson and Donnell Hunter. But the running game, Texans don't have a running game.
No, they don't.
Patriots do.
What I'm telling you is if you replace that offense that New England has with the Texans, like just that offense, that's not a game. I'm sorry, but that Texans defense is really legit.
You
The fact,
underestimated how much of that was New England's defense causing those problems.
really not.
Underestimating that.
No, it's not.
The Texans were a playoff team because they were a complete team and they put enough wins together to get there.
CJ Stroud was scared the whole time.
Oh my God! Of course he was. He got hit on the second play of the game.
CJ Stroud cost them that game. I'm sorry, but he did. Period.
Yeah, I just
Period.
Patriots Broncos, Brady Manning. This set, oh no, it's not Brady Manning.
I will say this.
You know, those were, you know, even when Manning played for Denver, that wasn't the best Manning. That was the end of the career Manning.
Yes.
Jeff, you're high. Sorry.
But how am I high? It was like the 20th best offense that year.
That year?
Yeah, when Manning was there.
That one year he had record-breaking year.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
Okay.
And the Seahawks destroyed him.
We'll have to hold this for another time, that argument. But what I'm saying is, okay, I'm going to bring up 2 points. The Broncos are undefeated against the Patriots at home in the playoffs. They're 4-0.
Okay.
Okay? And I think a big part of this game is going to be Butler for the Patriots, the defender that had 2 interceptions in the first half. He's probably going to be out because he's in concussion protocol. That's going to be a huge thing. Now,
and not even the Devil's going to get him past this game.
And they are talking J.K. Dobbins coming back this week for Denver. As long as this will be the winning formula for Denver, and this is how they have to do it. This is the only way they're going to do it. They're going to have to run the ball well. They're going to have to run the ball 30 to 40 times this game. I'm sorry, but they're going to have to. They cannot let Jared Stidham try to be Bo Nix because it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. But if that defense plays well enough and they run the ball well enough, they got a shot in this game. Do I think it will happen? I don't know. But what I will say is it's not a given win. Sorry, it's just not.
It is a given win.
Well, let's move on to the other side and the Seahawks Niners Saturday night. That kind of looked like the Indiana Oregon game from a couple weeks ago. Sorry, Brian.
That wasn't close.
You know, the Seahawks took the opening kickoff for Rashid Shaheed, who they picked up from the Saints earlier this year. Takes the opening kickoff back. At that point in time, the game was over because even if Seattle doesn't score again, they win 7-6. Seahawks look very dominant right now, and I'm very happy for Sam Darnold. Everything that guy has been through, leads the Vikings to the playoffs last year. They get rid of him for JJ. Yeah, that showed what it was like. Rams-Bears, Sunday night.
What a game. What a game.
How does Caleb Williams turn a 14-yard touchdown pass into a 41-yard touchdown pass at the end of the game to tie it up, and then throws a pick in overtime to let the Rams go down and kick the field goal?
Let's be real though. We're talking about the NFL, right? We're talking about the NFL. That play at the end of regulation to put it in overtime should have never happened. Ever. There's no reason that he should have been open at the back of the end zone. No reason in hell.
Now, I will say Komet could have gotten a little bit of a push at the end to get that separation. But you know what? It wasn't enough for the officials to throw the flag. But yes, you're right. Komet should not have been that open. I mean, he shouldn't have had that much space to catch that ball.
But they were letting them touch and they were letting them play the whole game. That was going both ways. And
this is the only reason that play happens. And that's because the defender's eyes were in the backfield. And they thought he was sacked the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were people that were standing right next to him that thought he was down.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but that's just a fluke play. That doesn't happen ever.
Did you see the Rams?
It won't happen again.
The Rams defender that was backed by Caleb ran by him after he threw that pass, and he was like this. He thought the game was over.
Yeah.
He thought he just threw the ball up for grabs. But it was the Bears last year that thought they had a win over the Commanders, and the Commanders threw the Hail Mary at the end to win that game when the Bears fan was over talking trash to the Washington fans and wasn't overplaying the defense like he should have been.
Because this is the NFL. And you know what? What happens in the NFL? Nothing's over till it's over.
Yes. But the Rams...
I mean, that's how we had great games like Kansas City and the Bills 3 years ago. The Burrows in Kansas City. You just can't count some people out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I don't
be one of those guys.
I'd have to disagree with Brian Cook on this fact. I do think the better coach is Sean McVay out of them two, because this is the point that I will point. The fact that play happened at the end of the game, the Bears should have won that game easy in overtime. I'm sorry, but that you could see the LA Rams just go like, and somehow he got them up to play. I'm sorry, but Sean McVay's a great coach. There's no reason the Rams should be in this position.
Well, the Rams now travel the Pacific Northwest this Sunday to take on the Seahawks. Chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Sounds like it's going to be a rainy, windy day.
Yep. But the Rams have proven. The Rams have proven over the last couple of years, even though they are a California-based team, they played Philadelphia and came within one play of beating them last year in their Super Bowl run. They go into Chicago last weekend in cold, windy, snow, and showed they could play there and win. So I don't know if the elements, but it's going to be the 12th man up there in Seattle.
Seattle's loud.
Seattle's loud.
Seattle's loud.
So we've got the potential of a lot of Super Bowl rematches. Maybe not recent ones, but Patriots Rams have played twice in the Super Bowl. The Broncos Seahawks have played in the Super Bowl, and the Patriots and the Seahawks have played in the Super Bowl. Marshawn Lynch.
The worst call ever in any Super Bowl.
Marshawn Lynch should have brought Sandra Bullock there so she could have called and said, Pete, run the goddamn ball. You know, I mean.
Wow.
But he wanted Russell to be the hero, not Marshawn. The only matchup we've never had in the Super Bowl is Broncos-Rams.
And we won't get that this year.
But we will see how that all happens. I got some homework for you guys.
Oh, no.
Got some homework for you guys because next week we'll be able to talk conference championships. We don't really have that. We're going to talk some coaching changes in the NFL as well. Jeff is very happy. I will tell you that much. John Harbaugh going to the Giants, and I think he's going to do a very good job there. But I want you to come up with a top 5 list. Brian, if you're watching out there in TV land, top 5 list of the best team to lose conference championship game.
To lose a conference?
Yes, not a Super Bowl. Conference championship game. You may have to go back, Super Bowl era only. Conference championship game. The best team to ever lose in the conference championship game. We'll talk more about that. I've already got my number 1 pick, but we'll talk about that next week. Guys, college football's over. We'll talk a little transfer portal next week, maybe. We're going to come in and talk about the championship games, conference championships. We'll have a Super Bowl, but we can save that for the week after to talk about the Super Bowl matchup. We'll talk coaching changes next week and everything else.
And we're going to start talking conference champions for basketball and March Madness.
Yes.
Because March Madness is huge.
Big game tonight.
Big game tonight. Nebraska, Washington. Can Nebraska stay undefeated?
Yep.
Go to 18-0. 18-0.
Only one of 2 teams left in the entire nation undefeated.
That is correct.
Arizona, the number 1 team in the nation, undefeated.
And we're sitting down at number 7.
Yep.
Behind a bunch of one-loss teams. But, you know, a lot of my friends are upset about it. They think that we should be in that top 5 area because we are undefeated and we have more quad wins than anyone else. But everyone's still waiting for the shoe to fall off. They're waiting for it to fall off and then watch us crumble and lose 4 or 5 straight. We take care of our business.
Mm-hmm.
The ranking will take care of itself.
Rankings have never really mattered in college basketball because if you're even in the top 25, you're making the tournament.
Right,
You know?
but seeding matters.
Seeding does matter.
Seeding matters, but if you take care of business, the seed will take care of itself. For example, if Nebraska gets that 20-0 mark by beating Michigan next week, we're going to be a top 2 seed.
Right.
They're projecting
take care of itself.
You know, it's
they're projecting them as a number 2 seed.
I know they are, but we're going to be in the Big Ten, and we're going to be a number 1
I
seed.
saw them as a number 1 seed.
We're probably going to be the number 4 seed overall by winning the Big Ten with 2 losses is how I see it.
Well, you know, a lot of season left, conference championships yet, a lot of basketball to be played.
Absolutely. And we cover a lot more of that as
As
the NFL gets done.
And we get closer.
Yep.
So, but yeah, guys, we got a lot of sports still going on right now. We've got, 2 games left here this weekend in the NFL. Super Bowl following that. Yes, Brian?
Little baseball news. We got the 2 Hall of Famers for this year. Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones are our 2 Hall of Famers this year, which I think is a good pick. I think it's well deserved.
But
But
it was kind of a weak. It was kind of a weak pool this time.
Yeah.
but I saw that come out yesterday so I figured I'd mention it.
Yep. So, Friday night, 48 hours from now, guys, big matchup in Lincoln, Bob Devaney Sports Center. Nebraska, Iowa wrestling. It's going to be huge. If you guys have ever not been to a wrestling duel, this would be one to go to. I think we're going to break our attendance record from earlier this year when we wrestled Oklahoma State. I think the Devaney is going to be packed. If you're a Nebraska fan, you even remotely interested in wrestling, this is one to come to. We've got a shot at maybe beating Iowa for the first time in a long time, and it's going to be fun.
So Brian, over the years, we've made a lot of bets on this show. I've taken a few of those bets, definitely being the underdog in the situation in many of those. I say we bet on the Denver New England game straight up.
Straight up?
Straight up.
What do you think?
Face painting.
Again?
Yeah. I loved it when you did it, and I'll hate it. I'll hate being different up. So I can see how that can be a pain in the ass. Face painting.
I'll take it.
Face painting.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
And just for the people who are listening, because there are a lot of different fans that listen to us. I get it over at the Eagles Club from a few of my friends up there. One of them actually is not talking to me right now because of my opinions on Denver. But just so y'all know, this is good fun. I mean, I'm having a blast up here. I hope you're having a blast arguing with me. And I hope you guys are enjoying what we're putting out. Because when we created this, we're casual fans that watch a lot of football.
Can I make one point?
Yeah.
Can I make one point before we close? I'm sorry, I said it in the text chat as well between us in the game during the game. But the fact that Bo Nix is being questioned should have been put to bed in this game. I'm sorry, but if Bo Nix doesn't play in that game, they don't win that game, period. Bo Nix is the reason they won that game. Just saying. Bo Nix should be talked about.
I will agree with you. Nix played decent in that game. I still don't know if I have him as a top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now.
He's a workable quarterback, and he's got one of the best quarterback coaches ever to play the game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's top 10 at all. I'm not saying that. But what I will say is
They've had worse quarterbacks.
He's probably one or two in that draft class.
I'm just saying the Denver Broncos have had worse quarterbacks.
Tim Tebow.
John Elway.
Brock Osweiler.
Okay, every quarterback.
Jake Plummer.
I mean, you guys have sucked at quarterback for many, many years. It's like you're always struggling to get one that makes relevance. And then when you guys win a Super Bowl, you think he's a top 5 guy. But you guys do very well with mediocre quarterbacks.
Now, I will tell you this. I would take Bo Nix over Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I would. I mean, Bo Nix is a starting quarterback.
Did you hear about the new, real quick, did you hear about the new pastry place in Philadelphia?
No.
Yeah, it's Hurts' turnovers.
You don't have many.
I have to give you one shot there, man. Come on now.
He had, 8 all year or something like that? Something like that? It's not very many. He didn't have very many.
It's the ones that mattered in the playoffs.
But hey, I can't say anything. I mean, my team didn't even make the playoffs this year.
Mine did either, but we're building.
They looked like one of the top teams in the NFC halfway through the year, and the wheels on the bus fell off, and goodbye Tampa. Hello Carolina. But anyway, guys, if you're out there watching us, you enjoy this, you like it, like I said, if you're a fan of the Broncos, just tune Jeff out for a while when he's going on his rants about Denver. If you're a fan of Texas, go do the same thing.
But definitely tune in next week to watch Brian here up in silver and blue.
See, I think you guys should do this too. I think if not only the face painting, but if the Broncos win, Jeff should paint his face orange and blue and wear a John Elway t-shirt.
I'm not wearing a John Elway t-shirt. I'm buying extra shirts as we go. I have a collection downstairs now. I got like 8 of them now of different teams for these type of purposes. So I am coming, and so
I bet Brett would have one you can borrow.
Wow, I'm not wearing an Elway. I'll do Denver, but I ain't doing an Elway.
Would you rather wear an Elway t-shirt or a Texas Longhorn jersey? We'll get back to that next week. If you enjoy what you're watching, send it out to your friends, send it out to your
Kill me a tick.
whoever, and share it, like it, tell everybody about it. We're on our way. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we need your help. Even if they only tune in one time and watch us, maybe they'll like it. Maybe they'll share it. Do things like that. We're just looking to get to that 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah. Force your brother into it. Force your sister into it. Force your mom and dad to sign up. Yeah. Even if they're in their 90s. Go on their Facebook page and sign up for them.
Yeah. But anyway, we are glad you have spent a little bit of time with us here this evening. Tune in next week. We're going to talk about the winners of the conference championships. We got some other stuff to discuss as well. For Brian Denton out in Fort Morgan, for Jeff and myself here in Beatrice, you've been watching Tailgate Talk, and
we know sports.